Welcome to Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. We had a fourth panelist. There she is back. How are you doing, Sarah? Welcome to the show. I think for your third week in a row? Maybe fourth?
I think so, yes. I love being here. What can I say?
Well, we love having you here. And Matt is in the comments. Jaylynn, you'll be happy to know Matt is in the comments. You're here, Matt's here. Everything's going well. Jaylynn, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'll try not to make Matt too mad tonight.
And then he's back all the time. Comics and Cinema Podcast. Alex from Spider Sunday, from everything else that we do. More to come on a collaboration with Comics and Cinema Podcast in the future. But Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Very excited.
All right. Well, we are celebrating Women's History Month here on Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. There's no better way to do that than The World According to JC May. Hello, JC.
Hi, Dad.
So you're going to tell us about who your favorite 5 girl Marvel characters are, right? Okay. Yeah. So who is your number 5 favorite girl character?
Monica Rambo.
Yeah, Monica Rambo is pretty cool, right? You like her in WandaVision and in Captain Marvel as the little girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about number 4?
Squirrel Girl.
Say it in the mic.
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl making an appearance. What about number 3?
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. You excited for her TV show coming soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Number 2.
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen. And number 1 favorite girl Marvel character is?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Is she your favorite Marvel character out of all of them?
Yes.
What about Spider-Ham?
Spider-Ham and her are tied.
Okay. And why is that? Because you love Spider-Ham because he's a
pig.
Yeah, you just love pigs.
I love him.
All right. Well, thank you so much, JC. All right. Well, that is The World According to JC May for Women's History Month.
She's so cute.
I love it.
Right. Well, we have just a little bit of news. First and foremost, rest in peace to actor William Hurt, who passed away. He played Thunderbolt Ross first in The Incredible Hulk in 2008, and then took a very long hiatus. And I think the next role he came back in was in Civil War as the Secretary of State, same character. So we do have to pass along our condolences to the Hurt family and William Hurt. Sarah, this one actually hit you a little bit harder than I thought it was going to. Is there a reason why you were attached to that character or just that actor?
Yeah, I thought William Hurt was one of the best actors of our time, one of the best living actors. And I mean, he was very versatile. I had just watched The Village a couple of months ago, and I mean that movie's okay, it's all right, but he's just so excellent, and there wasn't anything that he could not do and do it super well. So it's just sad. It's a big loss.
Alex, anything on William Hurt from your part?
It's funny because I claim to be a movie buff, and every single site that I've seen keeps calling The Kiss of the Spider-Woman as his most famous movie. And I was like, never even seen this movie. I'd actually recently seen him. I watched Until the End of the World, which was a really long movie. Wasn't an amazing movie, but he was great in it. And I think probably my favorite role of his was in Altered States, which I saw last year. My brother had shown me that movie, and he was absolutely insane in that movie. And again, no one's mentioning it, but he's very versatile. He's got so many roles and different people that he's played. So yeah, no, that was a really tough loss, especially at 71 too. And they said it was natural causes. So I'm sure it was, obviously a little CGI in like Civil War and Black Widow, but maybe he just wasn't doing well. So I wish his family the best.
Jaylynn, you were the first one to see the news. You broke the news to the rest of us. I mean, it's just a big bummer. Nothing else, like removing the MCU from it. It's just always a bummer when we lose somebody we know.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. I looked at his IMDb and I didn't actually know much of his work, so I wasn't a big fan of his or anything like that. I did see a few of his movies, The Village, like that, and then of course all the Marvel movies. But whenever we lose someone that we feel like is family to us, it's always hard.
Yes. Well, let's no easy way to transition from that, so we just will. We will from Kara saying, "What a good-looking crew tonight." Dwayne is here, Sarah is here, Sarah is here. I'm sorry, Katie is here, and Sarah is here. We've got Dwayne. Justin is here. The Disney Fanatics loves the call out for Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl in the house. I knew that one was going to get a big one. Why did I just hear Homer Simpson singing Spider Pig? I can completely understand that. Sarah's favorite is also Captain Marvel. We will discuss her quite a bit this evening, I am sure. So let's get into it then. Actually, we can't get into it yet because this is a big week from Marvel releases. First and foremost, because of the piracy on the internet, somehow, some way, a copy of Spider-Man No Way Home was being torrented out there. So they have moved up the release date of the digital copy of Spider-Man No Way Home. We get that in 3 hours and 22 minutes Eastern time at midnight this evening. We will be able to pick up our pre-orders for the digital copy of Spider-Man No Way Home. I genuinely think I'm going to go straight to the bonus features before I even get into it because I need to see the outtakes. I need to see that extra 20 minutes with Peter 2 and Peter 3. Another thing that is back in our lives, just a PSA, nacho fries from Taco Bell.
Hey.
I am fresh off of a batch of nacho fries from Taco Bell. And on Wednesday, we get the Defenders and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the accompanying parental controls on Disney+. Very, very exciting week in the world of Marvel. And then we are 2 weeks away from Moon Knight, which had a new Stinger trailer this morning. There is a cat joining us in the background. He
is on one, and I apologize. I'll probably have to kick him out at some point.
Marianne,
I like it.
Justin says Taco Bell for life. Justin is my man. Marianne heads to Disney in just 31 days. Alex, you just got back from Disney. How was your trip?
It was awesome. It was a really great time. Went to Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot, and spent the entire day there, every single day. It was great. I hadn't been there since 1999, apparently. From a baby photo my parents sent me. I was not a baby, though. I was very old, and I was probably 9. Actually, I was 8. But so it was an amazing time. Weather was great. Crowds were okay or pretty busy. I got sick when I got home. So all the great stuff for traveling.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, let's get into it. A few ground rules. We do have a 64-team bracket of the women of the MCU. When I say team, that is my college basketball fandom speaking. It is all represented by women across the MCU. We are changing up the voting patterns here on the show. I cannot stop watching the cat. We are changing up the voting patterns. My vote will only count as a tiebreaker. The audience is expected to vote with each and every round. The majority rules in the audience, one vote will go to them. And then our panelists, our esteemed panelists, Sarah, Jaylynn, and Alex, each get to cast their vote. And then I will break the tie if need be. Tennessee is going all the way, says Justin Grant. I do have them losing the national championship to Gonzaga. So we will see. But let's get into it. So we're going to go with part 1 first. We are going to do all 64 tonight, however long this takes us. It's not going to be easy. We are going to do it anyway. We will start off with probably the easiest one. Shout out to Earth's Mightiest Weirdos' own Anthony Lowry, who wanted to make sure Beth, the waitress from Avengers 1, was included on this bracket. She is the 16 seed, the lowest overall seed, going up against the number 1 overall seed of Wanda Maximoff. Again, let us know in the comments if Beth, the waitress, is going to get a single vote. I highly, highly doubt it because I have not seen Anthony yet. Sarah?
Wanda.
Shocking. Alex?
Wanda.
Jaylynn?
Wanda. I didn't even remember who Beth the waitress was. You had to tell me who the waitress. You had to say the waitress. Or else I'd be like, who's Beth?
Yeah. Anthony is here, and he says Beth for the win. So I stand corrected. Kara's not wrong. Wanda, of course. She did get an insane amount of screen time in the Avengers. That is true. Give the waitress a Disney Plus series. Okay, so it is one vote for Beth in the comments. That is from Anthony, and then everybody else goes Wanda. She moves on. We now, in the comments, the number 8 seed, Kamala Khan, versus the number 9 seed of Sprite off of the Eternals. There are characters like Kamala Khan, Riri Williams, Jennifer Walters, characters who we are anticipating their arrival to the MCU. Jane Foster, we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to her as well. However you anticipate this character and how much you love them, whether it's based on their comics or anything, you can cast your vote however you choose to do so. But I wanted to include some of these coming characters. The 8 seed of Kamala Khan versus the 9 seed Sprite from the Eternals. Sarah.
Kamala.
You went against the Eternals. I didn't know it was going to happen.
Just Sprite.
Alex.
Against...
Kamala, sure.
Kamala Khan. Jaylynn.
I also went with Kamala.
All right. And Kamala has won in the comments as well. So it was a clean sweep. The 5 seed, Valkyrie, versus the 12 seed, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Alex, we'll start this one with you.
Yeah, Valkyrie.
Sarah.
Valkyrie.
Jaylynn.
I also went with Valkyrie, but part of me wanted to choose Don't Call Me Val, but I didn't. I went with Valkyrie.
Val, don't call me Val. All right. Sounds good. The number 4 seed, Nebula. And against the number 13 seed, Captain Marvel's best friend, Monica Rambeau's mother, Maria Rambeau, founder of S.W.O.R.D. Does she stand a shot against Nebula? Jaylynn.
She does for me because I picked Maria.
Wow. Let us know in the comments. I feel like we're going to need at least your votes here. Nebula versus Maria Rambeau. Alex.
Maria Rambeau.
Ooh.
Yes, thanks, Alex. I thought I was going to be alone on that one.
No way.
Sarah.
I met Nebula at a time when my own sister and I were at odds. So Nebula has a very special place in my heart. Marie is awesome, but I gotta go Nebula.
Comments. Nebula, 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 Maria, Nebula, Maria, Maria, Nebula. We will give the comments just another second or two to go Nebula versus Maria. If Nebula wins the comments, she is going to win the round because I will cast my tiebreaker vote for the 4 seed of Nebula. David Rosen says it's her cybernetics. We'll just move on right there. Nebula does win because of the tiebreaker in myself.
First
Number
upset.
6 seed. Well, it's your first upset, but by the seeding, then we are still there. Number 6 seed, Jaylynn from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Shang-Chi's sister, if you don't know the names, versus the 11 seed, still probably overrated in my eyes, of Sharon Carter. Alex, Jaylynn, Sharon Carter.
Jaylynn.
Jaylynn.
Same. Jaylynn.
Jaylynn.
Why was it difficult? Just curious.
Because I have to remind myself that I am not. This is MCU, and I love Sharon in the comics, or Agent 13 in the comics, and they are not writing her well for some reason. It makes me so mad. But so yeah, I gotta go with Jaylynn.
All right, Jaylynn moves on. She was also winning in the comments as well. The 3 seed, Gamora, versus the 14 seed of Ying Li, who is Shang-Chi's mother. Alex.
Gamora.
Jaylynn.
This is where I make people mad because I pick Ying Li.
Okay. Ying Li with a vote. Sarah.
Gamora.
Gamora. Okay. So in the comments, we have Gamora. Kara coming in.
Thanks, Kara.
Kara agreeing with Jaylynn. I've never seen it before. I just
First time ever.
Alex, I'm going to go to you first on this one. The 7 seed of Jane Foster versus the 10 seed of Queen Ramonda. Who is Queen Ramonda? That is T'Challa and Shuri's mother, the Queen Mother of Wakanda. Alex, you had questions about Jane Foster.
Yeah, so this is where the struggle began for me because Jane Foster in the comics after Jason Aaron's run is one of my favorite characters of all. She'd be in my top 5. And so as I was doing this list, I found very quickly that and that's why I asked you, I said, are we basing this off of potential or off of just, what we know? And you said, however you'd like to do it. So this is where I kind of had to do this for myself, that potential can get you past the first round. And after that, you can't beat the proof that's already there in the MCU versus the potential that I think is going to happen. Because if I did, Jane Foster would have won the entire bracket for me. It would have probably been her up against someone else. But so at least for now, though, I picked Jane Foster because it's Natalie Portman and it's Jane Foster too. And I'm riding on some of that potential of the Thor bit. So that all of that's enough for her to beat Queen Ramonda.
If you want to hear just a little bit more about that Natalie Portman love and just everything in general, tune into the latest episode of Comics and Cinema Podcast, where Alex and myself talked for 2.5 hours about the Book of Boba Fett. And I'm proud of that episode. I think that was a really good episode. So you asked me, can we talk about potential? I think we can. Like, we're including characters like Riri Williams, Kamala Khan, Jennifer Walters for a reason. I think that we can. I still don't think, Alex, do you think Jane Foster is going to return beyond Thor: Love and Thunder, or do you think that the cancer storyline might be the end of that storyline?
I don't know. And see, that's where I was like, okay, when you get to, at some point where we can probably say we're going to get to a Wanda face-off at some point. And I'm like, okay, Jane Foster beats Wanda in my eyes every day. The Jane Foster I know from the comics. But now I'm basing it off of the comics and not off of the MCU. And if it is something where she just shows up for Love and Thunder, does an amazing job, and we never see her again, maybe that's enough. But again, you'd have someone where they've been in, like Natasha, she's been in however many movies, whereas Jane Foster's only been in 3 or whatever that is. There's a lot going on in my head to do that because, again, I wanted to give her all the grace that I could. But at the same time, I didn't want to put someone down who's had such a beautiful story throughout a ton of movies against someone who I'm just going, I think they're going to do great in the next movie. I don't know anything about it, but I felt like that was unfair, especially because I want to honor the people who have already been honored by the MCU versus the ones who haven't yet.
Last thing, Alex, if people want to read that Jason Aaron run, it is The Mighty Thor on Marvel Unlimited, correct?
Yep, correct. Yeah, it's two versions of it. I think it's just 1 through 8, and then it starts again at 1 through like issue 600. They changed the legacy numbering or something.
Perfect. We have 2 votes for Jane Foster. She's won in the comments as well as with Alex. Jaylynn.
Queen
Ramonda. Sarah.
Jane
Foster. Was it the Thor: Love and Thunder potential
Yeah.
pushing that over the top for you as well?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. We will move on. The 2 seed Okoye versus the 15 seed of Christine Everhart. WHIH's own Christine Everhart of Vanity Fair from Iron Man 1. Jaylynn.
Okay. Okay. Oh my God, I can't even talk. You know who I'm saying. I'm nervous now.
Okay, Oye. All right, cool. Sarah.
Big Latin. Okoye. Yeah.
Alex.
Okoye as well.
All right. Every high seed won in that round. Do we want to jump to the other side of the bracket, or do we want to finish this whole side first? Let's stick with the left side then. We'll stick with the left side. We have number 1, Wanda Maximoff versus the number 8 of Kamala Khan. Sarah.
Oh, yeah, Wanda.
Okay.
It hurts me.
Alex.
I love Kamala.
And this is where this is where he had to make the stand because I think if I was basing it off of comics, I would say Kamala, but it's the MCU and we haven't even seen Kamala yet. I know she's going to be amazing, but based on everything we've gotten from Wanda wins out.
Yeah.
Jaylynn.
Wanda
cleans up in the comments as well. The number 5 seed of Valkyrie versus I don't think there's any way she's going to be able to beat Valkyrie is the 4 seed of Nebula. Jaylynn.
Valkyrie.
Sarah.
Valkyrie.
Alex.
I have Maria down on my end. But if it's Valkyrie versus Nebula, I'll pick Valkyrie.
Valkyrie with the W. All right. Our first technical upset by seeding. All right. Number 6 seed, Jaylynn versus the number 3 seed of Gamora. Jaylynn versus Gamora. Jaylynn, the leader of the 10 Rings now. She's got knives, arrowheads on a rope, and she will kill you to do it. And then Gamora, the daughter of Thanos, one of the more interesting story arcs, in my personal opinion, in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Sarah.
Gamora.
Alex.
Jaylynn.
Jaylynn.
I'm with Alex. Jaylynn. That's who I picked, anyways. So.
All right. Well, we need the comments to keep going. It is a pretty much of a dead heat so far in the comics. In the comments, we'll give them just another minute. Jaylynn, what is it about it that Jaylynn really just sticks with you? I know you really, really like that character.
Yeah, I like how she taught herself. Like, she didn't just sit there and, kept waiting for her brother to come back. She, took it upon herself and taught herself. And then I just like how the end, you don't know what she is. Is she a good guy? Is she a bad guy? There's just so much more to explore with her character and how that movie ends. And I'm ready to see more of her, whether it's a Disney Plus show or she pops up somewhere else, but I'm ready.
If you have not voted in the comments, please do so, because it will determine, the next comment will determine whether I need to cast my vote or not. One more comment that says David, so that doesn't count.
Come on, David.
One more. It was either him or a tree. All right, so we will wait for that last one. Kara's telling David to get out. Well, while we wait on that last one, Gamora or Jaylynn, please, if you have not voted, please vote. The 7 seed of Jane Foster versus the 2 seed of Okoye. Jaylynn, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, I'll go with yours, Okoye.
Okay.
I'm not. My vote's not for Jane. Sorry, Jane.
Shocking.
I know.
All right. Well, the comments remain a dead heat, which means they are not voting in this one, which means it is a 2-1 win for Jaylynn over.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yay.
That's an upset.
I got to be fair.
It's an upset.
I got to be fair. So we have 1 vote for Okoye. Alex.
Jane Foster.
I thought you said it wasn't going to get her past round 2.
I know, but I have a feeling that Okoye is going to win anyway, so I got to give her a no. I literally, on my paper, I've got Okoye and Jane Foster in the second round, just depending on how things go. So we'll see.
Jared is very, very mad that Gamora got eliminated in the last round. Sarah, Jane Foster, Okoye.
Kara's gonna hate me, but I gotta go with Jane. I think Taika's gonna turn Jane around for us, and I'm excited about that.
Okoye has won in the comments, which means it comes to me. I'm very, very interested in this entire storyline and the real world problem that many of us have had of dealing with cancer and literally being able to save everybody but yourself, and that storyline that's going to come with the mighty Thor. And that Comic-Con panel when Natalie Portman lifted Mjolnir was awesome. I loved it so much. But I'm sorry. I have to go with Okoye. I love Okoye so much. That character is incredible. And I'm sorry to build you up like that, Alex. But
hey, I like it. I appreciate that.
The number 1 seed, Wanda Maximoff, versus the number 5 seed, Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie. What we're going to get from Valkyrie in this upcoming film, I'm very, very excited about as well. I think Taika is only going to be able to build upon that. Wanda Maximoff versus Valkyrie. Sarah.
I love them both, but I also love the potential for representation that Valkyrie is going to have on the MCU. So, Valkyrie.
Alex.
I will pick Wanda, and that's because her story and I'll explain it later towards the end, but she's had a much more thorough story as of right now.
Yes,
than,
that's accurate.
than Valkyrie has. But yes, Definitely exciting potential for her. Also exciting potential for Wanda too, though.
Jaylynn?
I'm also gonna go with Wanda.
And Wanda has won it in the comments, officially ending Valkyrie's run as much as we love Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson in Endgame was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that character in Endgame. I
I am
you-
excited to see her as King of Asgard.
I
That's
liked
gonna
you
be
better
great.
either of the other ways.
Yeah.
The 6th seed of Jaylynn versus the 2 seed of Okoye. Alex.
Jaylynn.
Wow. She's making a deep run for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like Colorado State making it to the Final Four. Jaylynn.
Okoye.
All
This
right.
one was tough because I love them both, but I know more, or we've seen more of Okoye.
Allison is with Alex, going with Jaylynn. Another one, Justin. We've got a few for Jaylynn. Sarah.
Okoye.
Okoye. We are now putting it on the comments where Spear Lady takes the lead.
Lady.
Okoye does win in the comments, which puts her over the top and goes up against Wanda Maximoff. Okoye, Wanda Maximoff, give the guy one Jaylynn pop. That's
I
okay.
have 2 now.
Now I understand what he was going for. Okay. Wanda Maximoff, Okoye. Sarah.
Wanda.
Alex.
Wanda.
So would Valkyrie have beaten Okoye here too, Sarah? You would have had Valkyrie probably winning this whole bracket
Yes.
if she had advanced. Okay, so that's 2 for Wanda. Jaylynn.
Wanda.
David says Wanda saved Okoye. Why was she up there this whole time? All right. Wanda Maximoff is officially the winner of Region 1. All right. We will move on to, I will pull it back up, the right side of part 1. The number 1 seed of Natasha Romanoff. I know for a fact that Sarah will vote for her, especially in the first round, against the 16 seed of Betty Ross, Hulk's girl from the Incredible Hulk, yet to be seen again, portrayed by Liv Tyler. Sarah.
Nat.
Alex.
Nat.
Jaylynn.
Same, Natasha.
The number 8 seed of Lady Sif versus the main head Eternal of Ajax. Sarah.
Sif.
Okay. Alex.
Ajax.
Why? Just curious.
Because I love Ajax. Better than Sif.
Can you make a case for Ajax? Because she's number 10 out of the 10 Eternals for me.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a scene in Eternals where Ajax essentially releases all of the Eternals to go be their own people and explains to them that they need to go out and become whoever they want to be and to come back and tell her all about it. And we don't get anything like that with Sif.
But Sif is the shield maiden of all of Asgard.
Agreed. In theory, I've not seen her be a shield maiden for all of Asgard yet in any of the movies. I will say this: Sif was given a huge disservice in the MCU. That's why.
Absolutely.
Again, based straight on MCU stuff, I think what we saw with Ajax was way more emotionally stirring for me than with Sif.
Jaylynn.
I went with Sif.
Jamie Alexander portrays Lady Sif. We saw her in Loki. We will be seeing her again in Thor: Love and Thunder in July. I'm very, very excited about it. Lady Sif moves on. The number 5 seed of Hope Van Dyne versus the very active on Twitter, and her name escapes me at this exact moment, who is portraying Riri Williams. Dominique Thorne. Thank you so much. Dominique Thorne has said, see you in November, which means she very much believes Black Panther 2 will still be coming out in November, which is good news to hear. So Riri Williams, the 12 seed, who will be making her MCU debut in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, up against the 5 seed of Hope Van Dyne. Alex.
This one was really tough. This was another one where I had to remind myself about that proof versus potential. Hope was the first female headliner of an MCU movie, which was pretty cool. And also, she was great in both Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not only that, though, she kicked butt in What If. And so that kind of twisted it for me to choose Hope over Riri, because I know Riri's going to be amazing. I know once we see some of her things that I'd probably put her above her. But with what we have currently in the MCU and off of that zombies episode, and I think there was even one more where she gives a lot of emotional gut punches, and I love my emotions, so that it goes to Hope.
Don't say zombies. We've kept Kara this entire night.
Sorry, Kara.
For those that don't
Sorry.
know, Riri Williams is the de facto new Iron Man for the MCU. She will be playing the hero of Ironheart to an extent, not necessarily the new Iron Man, but his tech. Like
Legacy.
we don't know exactly what it's going to be. What was that, Sarah? Sorry.
Like his legacy.
Yeah. So she will be in Ironheart, which will be on Disney Plus, but she will make that appearance in Black Panther 2. Sarah, Hope Van Dyne, Riri Williams.
I really like Riri Williams. I'm excited for her to join the MCU.
Jaylynn.
I picked Hope. I didn't want to, but I don't know anything about Riri Williams. I don't have the comic book background, and we haven't seen, any clip or anything of her, so I had to go with Hope just for that reason, but I don't really like Hope either, so she won by default.
Interesting. I like Hope. I actually like Hope a lot more now. Like, I didn't care for her in Ant-Man 1. I think she was really good in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think her costume's really cool too. So I think that's part of it too. The 4 seed of Shuri versus one of the worst mothers we've gotten in the MCU, Eleanor Bishop. Anybody voting for Eleanor Bishop in this one?
No.
No votes there.
No.
He moves on. Shuri moves on. The 6 seed of Darcy Lewis versus the 11 seed of Thor's mother, Frigga. Jaylynn.
I went with Darcy on this one.
I don't know. I don't know. Alex.
I went with Frigga.
Really?
I did. Yeah, it's Thor's mom. She gives him the best pep talk of all time. There's so much to love about Frigga, and all Darcy does is make us laugh, which again is great. But I'm looking at those emotions when I'm thinking about this thing.
Oh man, Sarah.
I'm with Alex because I have a theory that in Endgame, when Thor reaches for Mjolnir, and it doesn't come at first, and she's the one that says sometimes it takes a second, and then Mjolnir comes. I think it took her believing in him to get him to believe in himself again. And I'm not sure that it would have happened if she hadn't said that. So
Great thought.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that it was earlier in the scene when he really started believing in himself again. I think if he didn't believe in himself from the conversation they had earlier, he wouldn't have even tried.
Yeah.
That was kind of how I saw it, but I do like that one. I think Rene Russo coming back in Endgame really changes that character of Frigga. The way Loki reacts when he finds out that Frigga died because of what he did is really, really interesting. But I love Darcy Lewis, and Darcy does win in the comments. So I am casting my tiebreaker vote for Darcy Lewis. Mew Mew and everything that we got in WandaVision. If it weren't for WandaVision, Darcy, 1, wouldn't be a 6 seed, or 2, I don't think she would have won. But I think that the trio of Jimmy Woo, Monica Rambeau, and Darcy is just too good to be true. I love them. David says Frigga didn't get to do a lot before Endgame, but Darcy has been a more constituent character. I'm assuming he means constant. I'm not sure.
Consistent.
Oh, that's probably the right word. Okay. The 3 seed of Kate Bishop, who I still think is probably underrated at 3, versus Hunter B-15 from Loki. Does anybody cast a vote for Hunter B-15?
No.
I simply
Sarah does.
Sarah votes for Hunter B-15. Go ahead and tell me why, because there's one thing of hers that I want to make sure we call out.
Okay. First of all, Haley Steinfeld is delightful, but I think Wunmi Mosaku is a better actress for one.
Ooh.
Hot take, I know. But there is a line. There is a line that she has. Hold, Kara. Just wait. Hold on. There is a line that she has when she's talking to Sylvie in front of Rock's cart.
Yep. This
when
is the
it's
scene I
raining.
wanted to make sure we talked about.
And it's one short line, and all she says is it's real. Like she's like it's real, and her voice breaks, and it is just devastating to me. And I thought it was phenomenal. She's just an incredible actress, and she's British, and her American accent is on point.
Yeah, I think she says, and I was happy. I think that
Yeah.
she said in that scene. Loki is so good. Like Loki is such a good show. Like Kara just rewatched Falcon and Winter Soldier. She could have rewatched Loki instead. We will go with Kate does win in the comments. We had one vote for Hunter B15. Sarah made a compelling argument. Jaylynn or Alex, or either of you changing your vote over Kate Bishop?
No.
I'm not changing, but I did like the journey I went through with Hunter B15. You know, the series started and I'm like, ugh, I hate this. I hate her.
Yeah.
She's too aggressive. Like she's mean to Loki.
She's the one that smacks Loki in the chin and he goes
Right,
yeah, I love that. I love that.
And then I like her turn into, you know, a good person. I probably would have voted for Hunter B15 if she was up against someone else.
Yeah,
but Kate Bishop
100%.
is, you know, just too good.
Jared says, so long as Bumblebee shows up in some form, Kate Bishop. That is for the 7 seed of Nakia versus the 10 seed of Tilda Swinton's The Ancient One. Jaylynn.
Nakia.
Alex.
The Ancient One.
I never freeze. The Ancient One. You didn't seem like you even questioned it.
No, that one. Well, yeah, because Nakia's we only get her in the one movie, and Ancient One we get in a couple, but I feel like she had some really good things in Doctor Strange. Obviously, she's the one that kind of shoots him into the multiverse. But then when you top that on top of her performance in What If as well, which I'm considering that as part of the MCU, so that her fight that she has in there and her revealing everything to Strange was amazing. Everything with her and Bruce Banner in Endgame was amazing.
I was gonna say shout out to the Ancient One, if for nothing else, for really hammering it into people that aren't getting the time travel rules. Like
right.
really getting it locked in.
I mean, well, and then you forget too. I love Doctor Strange, and so she has some sick fights in Doctor Strange too. Like when at the very opening when she's fighting in the mirror dimension was awesome, and then she does another great fight towards the end. So yeah, that was strictly based on fights.
Sarah.
Nakia.
Alex, put the Bud Light down. Nakia advances. The number 2 seed of Pepper Potts versus I was gonna call her Enfys Nest, but Carly Morgenthau. Anybody voting for Carly Morgenthau from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? All right. Pepper Potts moves on rightfully. The 1 seed of Natasha Romanoff versus the 8 seed of Lady Sif. Anybody voting for Lady Sif? No. She doesn't stand a chance. The 5 seed of Hope Van Dyne versus the 4 seed of Shuri. Sarah.
Shuri.
Alex.
This one was really hard. And it shouldn't have been hard because I was I did find it funny that both of the actors for these roles were very problematic right now. So it was a very interesting dynamic there. Hope we get so much more to see. We've only seen Shuri a little bit, but what we have seen of Shuri was amazing, made me laugh. She's super smart. And I have a feeling that Shuri is going to win this. So I'm going to cast a dark horse vote for her.
When Shuri tells like Banner what he should have done, and I'm sure you did your best. Oh, that scene in Infinity War.
Yeah, and the what are those with the sandals had me laughing.
Jaylynn, I don't believe I even need to ask.
No, I went with Shuri.
Shuri has also won in the comments in a landslide. So Shuri has won. Alex, your symbolic vote is noted in the parliament.
I'm totally fine with it.
Seed of Kate Bishop.
Hello, sweetie.
Versus the number 6 seed of Darcy Lewis. Sarah.
Kate.
Alex.
Kate.
Jaylynn.
Kate.
Kate Bishop advances. The number 7 seed of Nakia versus the number 2 seed of Pepper Potts? Sarah.
Nakia.
Nakia. Alex.
Pepper.
Jaylynn.
This one was hard. I love both of them. And so I went petty on this one, and I like Lupita Nyong'o better, so I picked Nakia. So that was my reasoning, because I love both the characters.
Sarah, what is it about Nakia that made you pick her over the longest standing woman of the MCU in Pepper Potts?
I think, man, I love Pepper. I mean, Marvel has not been super great about writing female characters in the MCU, so Pepper has been a little bit flat for me, developmentally speaking. Nakia, I think there's a lot of, this is the potential versus proof thing. There is a lot of potential for Nakia moving forward. And I liked her dynamic with Chadwick in the movies. So
Sarah says, I don't remember who Nakia is, but does not care for Gwyneth Paltrow. Nakia is the main female character that T'Challa is going after at the beginning of Black Panther, the one that he ends up with at the end of Black Panther. The one who, man, I really don't know. I feel like it's a three-way tie as to who's going to be the next Black Panther, either her, Shuri, or M'Baku. I really don't know where they're going to go. And I don't think we're literally going to find out until the movie. I don't think they're going to tell us in the marketing.
I hope they don't tell us. I hope it is a surprise in the movie.
So it is a dead heat in the comments. Maybe Pepper takes the lead, but there's 2 for Nakia, 2 for Pepper. I'm going to break the tie, and I'm going with Nakia as well. I think Nakia, and the way that she's able to get through to T'Challa, which really leads to that scene on the ancestral plane of him yelling at everybody, saying, all of you were wrong. Nakia was right the entire time. Super, super powerful stuff. She risked her life to go save Shuri and Queen Ramonda and save the heart-shaped herb. A lot of really cool stuff from Nakia. I really, really like her, so she's going to move on. The number 1 seed, Natasha Romanoff, versus the 4 seed of Shuri. Alex.
Wait, did Shuri beat out Kate Bishop?
No. Kate Bishop's going in the next.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of Nakia. My bad. Okay, Shuri versus Natasha.
Yes. Sarah.
Natasha.
Jaylynn.
Natasha.
Stephanie says, love how Nakia can be independent and forward thinking while also respecting tradition.
Great call.
That is absolutely a great call, and it is portrayed no better than it is at the waterfall during Challenge Day at the beginning of the film. Can we all wrap this up so we can all go home? Okay. The 3 seed of Kate Bishop versus the 7 seed of Nakia, who we just talked about. Kate Bishop, Nakia. Alex.
Kate.
Sarah.
Nakia.
Wow. Jaylynn.
Yeah.
I also had Kate.
We will let the comments. We are moving a little fast for the comments, so we will let everybody catch up. Lots of votes for Nat in the last round. Kara's not happy that Pepper was eliminated a long time ago. I think with the character that we got with Pepper, talking about it, because we're never going to get another chance to talk about it, when she shows up as Rescue in that Rescue armor in Avengers Endgame, because of the character we've gotten for so many films, it was that much more satisfying. And I mean, the 2 of them back to back, it's in our intro for a reason. I really, really like that. I like the man that Tony became at the end, and I think Pepper has a lot to do with that. But I did cast my vote for Nakia, and I don't regret it. Kate has completely blown it out in the comments. Kate Bishop moves on. Natasha Romanoff versus the number 3 seed of Kate Bishop. Alex really looks like he wants to go.
Now, wait.
Sarah.
Me?
Yes. Considering you voted for Hunter B15 in round 1 against Kate Bishop, and she's going up against Natasha. Yeah, I would have been shocked. Okay. Natasha, Alex. No, Jaylynn. Sorry. Jaylynn.
Natasha.
Alex.
Kate.
Okay.
I know.
I believe our cutoff in the comments was after David when he voted for Kate. So Sarah Thurgood with our first vote for Black Widow. Natasha's won. Natasha wins it in the comments. So again, another.
That's fine. I knew what happened. I had to throw some Kate love out there. I think it kind of goes back to it as well. I love what we've gotten with Natasha, and of character-wise, comic-wise, I'm more of a fan of Kate Bishop than I am of Natasha. Always have been. Yeah. But also in terms of storytelling, I hate to say it, but like even the little we've gotten of Kate I thought was better storytelling than what Marvel did for Black Widow, which is just totally unfortunate. And I know Sarah and I had a very long conversation about that on our Black Widow episode. But yeah, so when we're talking about it that way, that's why I did. And I knew I wouldn't win.
Kara does not know Alex's middle name, so he got Sarah's middle name, and she says Alex Marie. Natasha wins it in the comments. I repped Kate Bishop on my shirt tonight. We have part one of the entire bracket. Both one seeds won. Wanda Maximoff versus Natasha Romanoff. We will start the bidding with Sarah.
Natasha.
Jaylynn, you look like you really, really want to go.
I don't.
I'll go. Sure.
Alex.
Wanda.
Jaylynn.
Well, I picked Natasha, so I feel like I have to stick with it because I typed it up and it's in print. So it's official.
You're the only one that can see it, in all fairness.
I know. But it was really, really tough because I love them both, and we've just gotten more of Natasha, and we've been on a longer journey with her, so I went with Natasha.
Anthony's still casting his vote for Beth.
Look at all the Wandas in the comments. Come on.
They both have similar. I love Natasha because she was a regular human being choosing to be good and heroic, but she and Wanda have very parallel journeys in that way where they could have so easily been swayed into evil and wrong, and they both chose not to do that. They chose to be good and heroic.
Well, they both also did that too, though. They both had moments where they were on the wrong side of things before someone kind of stepped in and saved them with Clint and Vision.
Yep.
Wanda is winning by 1 in the comments. We will give the comments just another little bit. If you have not voted, please vote Natasha Romanoff versus Wanda Maximoff. I want the comments to be able to get their chance to vote. While I do so, Sarah, I have a genuine question for you. We were talking about Natasha versus Kate Bishop. If you could get another MCU project from only one of the two and where we stand right now, which of those two characters would you pick? Would you rather see the future of Kate Bishop, or would you rather have Natasha Romanoff return to the MCU?
I'm here for the Kate and Yelena content, but I will always, there is just something incomplete in my soul that they never did a Natasha and Bucky film. It would have been so good, so incredible. So if there were ever an opportunity for that to happen, I would be so down.
Boomer casts his vote for Black Scarlet Widow Witch. Okay.
David picked Wanda.
Wanda is the winner in the comments, which puts us at a 2-2 tie, which means it comes down to me.
I don't envy that.
Yeah, have fun.
And we will decide that when we get to the championship round.
Yes. Okay, cool. Good.
I want to keep a good working relationship with the Nerd Emporium. We will move on. I will pick the winner there now that I know that is on me. I will spend the next little bit. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to go past our 1 hour tonight. We want to make sure the women of the MCU get their chance to fulfill this entire bracket. We are very happy to have everybody here. Please keep the comments coming. We are moving on to number 2. We are going with the 16 seed of the Melt Stick Topaz against the 1 seed, my daughter's favorite, in Captain Marvel. Anybody voting for the Melt Stick? I know there's going to be one commenter that will, but
just kick him out.
Stephanie says, I'd like everybody to know that the Black Scarlet Widow Witch is basically the answer I get every night when I ask, what do we want for dinner? That's fair. Boomer, keep fighting the good fight. Carol Danvers moves on. Nobody voting for Topaz, except there's the one I expected in the Melt Stick. The number 8 seed of Io, who without the Falcon and the Winter Soldier would not have even made this bracket. But everything we got in the Falcon and Winter Soldier from Io is absolutely great. Against somebody who should be higher represented, but has not been well represented in the MCU, nor do I expect that to change in Maria Hill. Alex.
Yep, you said it best. Same thing. If I'm picking based on comics, it would have been Maria Hill when she was announced. I loved Maria Hill. I loved how she was always so mean, but she got the job done. And I don't have a problem with Kobe Smulders either. But after a couple movies, it was very clear that they didn't know what they were doing with her. And even just AO in Civil War was like, okay. And then when they pulled her back for Falcon, I was like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, AO for me.
Move before I make you move. As entertaining as that might be. Yeah, that's fair. Sarah.
Same with what Alex just said. Io.
Let's go to the mall. Jaylynn.
Same as the others, Io.
That scene with Io and Bucky around the
So
campfire
good.
in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the best scene from that film.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Maria Hill seems to have won it in the comments, but the three of you all went with Io. She moves on. This is my favorite matchup of the first round. Gemma Chan's portrayal of Cersei in The Eternals versus Gemma Chan's portrayal of Minerva in Captain Marvel. She's blue. She looks different. Gemma Chan can do anything that she wants. If she wants to be recast as Thanos, I say let her. Alex, Cersei, or Minerva?
Cersei.
Jaylynn?
I also went with Cersei.
Sarah?
Same. Cersei.
We have another vote for Minerva in the comments from the same person who voted for Topaz. Thanks for joining us, Stephanie. All right, this is not going Stephanie's way. She voted for Topaz, Maria Hill, and Minerva, and all three have been eliminated. The number 4 seed, when Sarah gets back, I know who she's going to cast her vote for in this one. We have the young, the wonderful Morgan Stark, I Love You 3000, versus the number 4 seed, Makari. Jaylynn?
I went with Makari.
Sarah, I have already cast your vote for Makari.
Thank you.
Stephanie says harsh call out. My fault. I do apologize. Makari making a run. Kara making sure Morgan gets that vote in all capital letters. I think Stephanie's going to win this one. Alex.
Yeah, Makari.
Makari moves on. All right. The number 6 seed, may she rest in peace, May Parker versus the 11 seed of Cassie Lang. Again, another one where we can talk about what may be coming potential within this character. I love Cassie Lang in both Ant-Man films. I think that scene that we get when Scott comes back in Endgame and sees her, how grown up she is actually really, really powerful. I imagine losing 5 years of the life of my daughter. And it's brutal to think about, but also she has been recast and we have stature on the way. And I think Cassie Lang has a lot going for her, but May Parker is May Parker. Sarah.
Aunt May.
Alex.
May.
Jaylynn.
I also went with May, and I cried while writing her name.
That is why I went on my diatribe about Cassie Lang, because I did expect Aunt May to move on. The number 3 seed, this is really going to set up the next round, interestingly. The number 3 seed of Michelle Jones-Watson, MJ, versus the number 14 seed Taskmaster, Antonia Dreykov. Alex.
I was about to say Taskmaster, but no. It's MJ. Come on.
Sarah, were you good with the change from it's Anthony Masters, I believe, correct? Was Taskmaster?
Anthony Masters.
Tony
Sorry.
Masters, yeah. So did you like the Dreykov twist in Black Widow?
No. If it had been more compelling, maybe. I don't care about the gender swap is fine, but it just it wasn't super compelling for me.
Fair enough. Okay, MJ or Antonia Dreykov?
MJ.
I feel about Zendaya how Bryan feels about Jimmy Chan. She can do anything she wants. That is fair. Jaylynn?
MJ.
I'm very interested in the next round. The number 17 of Angelina Jolie's Thena versus the 10 seed of Mantis, who I said just a couple of weeks ago that Mantis is fine. So I'm sorry. Sarah, Thena, Mantis.
Dina.
Alex.
Thena.
Jaylynn.
Thena.
She moves on.
Easy.
The number 2 seed of Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, again, also can do no wrong, versus the 15 seed Janet Van Dyne. Alex.
Yelena Belova.
Mantis killed it in the comments, by the way. Like, Mantis won in the comments, which is interesting.
Dang.
A vote for Yelena. Jaylynn.
Yelena.
Sarah.
Yelena.
I expect Yelena to win in the comments as well, but no offense, doesn't matter. We will give the comments a chance to catch up, and we will then reset here in just a moment. No upsets in the first round. Everything went according to seed. The number 1 seed of Carol Danvers versus the number 8 seed of Io. Jaylynn.
Carol.
Alex.
Carol.
Sarah.
Carol.
I like Carol. I really do. But I do struggle with kind of that Superman complex that she has where she's like legit unbeatable. They're really going to have to work hard. And I think Nia DaCosta is going to be able to do it, especially when you combine her with Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau in the next film, The Marvels. I think she's going to be able to do it. But I really struggle with just how powerful that character is. We saw her kind of get beat in Endgame, but not really. She's still like, they wouldn't have won without her. So
yeah, I think, I feel like we talked about it in way back when in the Comics and Cinema WandaVision episodes, but like the only way you beat someone that's a superhuman like that or is that powerful is by hitting them in the emotions or making them feel, do something that they can't punch. And Monica is the perfect person to put Carol in her place in this movie and remind her of all of the things that she messed up on, all this, it's going to be a reckoning as I'm calling it.
Yeah. That scene where Jimmy Woo talks about Captain Marvel and she said, we're not talking about her right now. Like they just laid that seed. They just planted that seed and it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Kara is simply refusing to vote this round. No opinion on Carol Danvers. The number 5 seed of Cersei versus the number 4 seed of Makari. This is Sarah's worst nightmare in the first round. Actually, I feel like Thena versus Makari might have been more difficult for Sarah. But go ahead, Sarah.
Makari.
Alex.
Makari.
Jaylynn.
I also picked Makari.
Yes. Okay, but this was also hard.
She might. It sounds like it was super, super difficult. She might beat Captain Marvel next round. I really don't know. Okay, so we will move on to what I find to be the most compelling of the first round: Aunt May versus MJ.
This was rude.
This one, blame Ryan, who helped me set this bracket.
Ryan.
He's the one that picked these two. It's very, very hard. I think the chemistry of MJ and Peter jumps off the screen in Spider-Man No Way Home. That scene in the lab, it just seems like a natural, actual relationship, and that's because it is. I think that's a big part of it. But they don't seem like a quote unquote high school couple to me. They really seem like they love each other, and she makes him a better Spider-Man and a better person. But you know who else makes him a better person is Aunt May. And now she's gone, and I don't know what to do. MJ versus Aunt May. Jaylynn.
Super, super difficult. But I picked Aunt May. Just that scene of her dying. I mean, just leading up to that, just her that, I mean, I talked about it on the spoiler show, but just how she didn't leave Peter to battle the goblin on his own. She stood her ground, and you see that chemistry of Tom and Zendaya, they're the real life couple, but then seeing Tom and Marissa have that chemistry, it wrecks me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
I went with May.
It's the best delivery of "with great power comes great responsibility," and Alex partially because she quoted it correctly.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a hot take, but this was not a hard decision for me. Aunt May all the way. We've seen MJ before, we've seen the relationship before, but we have never seen this kind of Aunt May relationship before.
Yeah.
And to have her be a through line through multiple films, to be a linchpin in all of those films too. I love when she picks him up from the airport. When he flies in the second movie and in the first movie, when she finds out that, like, there's so many things that you don't see before. Whereas with MJ, it was just like, it's your classic relationship. They're great together. But Aunt May just over the top wins for me.
Yeah.
That scene that Robert Downey Jr. films, like talking to Aunt May with Peter's camera in the beginning of Homecoming, is just so good too. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Aunt May.
Aunt May moves on. She wins in the comments as well. It's a clean sweep for Zendaya. All right. The number 7 seed of Thena versus the number 2 seed of Yelena Belova. Sarah.
No, man.
We can come back to you. Jaylynn.
Yeah, come back.
I picked Yelena.
Alex.
It's funny. I felt like Sarah when I was doing this last night. I don't know what it was. I know people will probably hate me. It's not that I wasn't a huge fan of her in Hawkeye. I'm really glad that she was there, but it's not that I felt I don't know what it was, but I was just like, Thena, no question. But then I remembered Black Widow, and I remembered like the scene of her at dinner and all of her fights in the movie, and everything about her in Black Widow was absolutely amazing. And I think, Sarah, we even talked about that movie was a Yelena movie. Like, she was the main character of it, and I was like, okay, that's right. It's Yelena, hands down. But I don't know what it was about Hawkeye. I gotta do some inner work on that and figure it out. But
did your Disney Plus like skip the entire macaroni and cheese scene? Or
it didn't really work for me. That's why it felt like a little more cringy than it did not. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I talked about it. I admitted it on recording.
Sarah.
Yelena.
You didn't even have to vote, Sarah, but I made you go through that pain anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
Because the other two voted for it, and there was not a single vote for Thena in the comments. Kara says Thena did absolutely nothing for me. Kara is joining us tonight because she was feeling a little bit under the weather. Kara, we hope you're feeling better. The number 1 seed of Carol Danvers versus the number 4 seed of Makari. And I think with this panel, it's going to be more close than it will be in the comments, but we will find out. Makari, Carol Danvers. Jaylynn.
Carol.
Okay. Maybe not then. Sarah.
Based on what we have so far in the MCU, Makari.
I did not think that was how that sentence was going to end. Alex.
I'm glad she did. This was a really hard one for me, but I got to give it to my girl, Carol.
All right. Carol will move on. I expect we will let the comments do their thing. Sarah, you talk about based on what we have in the MCU, Makari getting your vote. Where do you think Makari pops up next? I really don't think there's ever going to be an Eternals 2.
Yeah. I think maybe we get some of her in whatever they end up doing with Blade and I almost said the Dark Knight. Oh my god. Black Knight. Just because of some of the stuff that Alex and I talked about with the alchemy and magic and mysticism, all that kind of stuff, and the green tablet or the emerald tablet. But yeah, I would love to see her again. However it happens, give me more Makari.
I'd bet for Guardians 3.
Ooh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because we got Eros, we got Pip. They're all part of the Guardians at one point or another, and they're all out in space together too. But I also agree with Kara in the comments as well. I fell in love. I don't even want to talk. Let's too long of a conversation.
Carol Danvers moves on. The 6 seed of Aunt May versus the 2 seed of Yelena Belova. Jaylynn.
I went with Yelena on this one.
Okay. Sarah.
I love a good, compelling, hot aunt. I am a sucker for it. But Alex reminded me of those emotional scenes that Florence Pugh has in Black Widow and Hawkeye. She's so good. She's so great as Yelena.
Alex.
Same, Yelena.
Yelena Belova. We will give it just a second to let the comments reset, just so we don't cast votes for Yelena in the next round when she goes up against Carol Danvers. But, okay, I think we've had a little time to let the comments reset. We have the number 1 seed of Carol Danvers versus the number 2 seed of Yelena Belova. Start commenting now. Let us know your vote. Carol Danvers, perfect. Justin threw a test in there for us to break it up. Carol Danvers versus Yelena Belova. Is there anybody that would like to go first?
I can go.
Alex.
I'm picking Carol.
Why?
Because, okay, so I love Brie Larson. Captain Marvel is one of my favorite Marvel characters. And again, I know I'm trying to keep the Marvel piece out of it, but I loved the Captain Marvel movie. That has a very special place in my heart. I think I liked it a lot more than other people liked it, comparatively to what we saw with Yelena and Black Widow. That's great, but there's still more that I would like to see from Yelena, and there's more I'd like to see from Carol too. But again, just as a fanboy, seeing Carol on screen and seeing them pull from my favorite run of Carol, or how I fell in love with her, just meant so much to me. Versus, again, Yelena, I know nothing about from the comics. I never, had an attachment to her, and the only saving grace for her is Florence Pugh. Versus, I love both the character and the actor of Captain Marvel. So that's kind of how I reasoned with it.
Maybe not knowing her from the comments is different than I know Sarah has a relationship with Yelena in the comments, and it's in the comics, and it is not a positive relationship.
No.
Sarah, where are you going to go here from women of the MCU? Yelena versus Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
No, see, I love Carol in the comics, which is why I had such a problem with the movie. I felt like she could have been written better. Like, I wanted to see more about her brothers, more of her growing up, her complicated relationship with her mom and dad, especially her dad. Man, this is hard. But Yelena, I'm not a fan of comics Yelena, and Florence, actually, I just did not anticipate loving that character, and she really made me love that character. I am stalling.
Buster.
I'm gonna go Carol.
Whoa. Okay.
Yep, it's my heart. I've loved Carol for a long time.
Yelena makes it 2-1 in the comments. Jaylynn, are you gonna put it on me?
I thought I was going to be alone in picking Carol over Yelena. I did not think everyone else was going to pick her as well. I mean, I had Captain Marvel in my top 10 of MCU projects. So
Didn't you have Hawkeye in your top 10 as well? Just curious.
No,
close.
I think he was like
11th or 12th.
11. Yeah, it was right there.
Lucky the dog.
Yeah.
Well, Lucky wasn't on here, or else Lucky would have won.
I should have put Jolt the dog on here. That would have been great.
But yeah, I love Carol. I love how I felt after watching that movie the first time. I mean, like I said, I talked about it on that show too, so I went with Carol.
You just saved Carol's life in this tournament, because I would have absolutely gone Yelena Belova, and the comments went with Yelena. So we are going against the people. Yelena Belova is eliminated, and the 1 seed of Carol Danvers officially moves on to the final 4. We're going to start back at the beginning. Wanda Maximoff versus not the 16 seed of Beth the Waitress, but Jolt the dog. I'm just kidding.
Joel.
I was like, wait, what?
No,
I mean, just with her Instagram, she deserves to win. It's so cute.
Jolt the dog, if you don't know who that is the girl dog that portrays Lucky the pizza dog in Hawkeye. We are going to start with the right side of the second bracket. We are nearing the end. Sarah, you still really, really like working with us here at Earth's Mightiest Weirdos, correct?
Yes.
Just making sure. The number 1 seed of Peggy Carter versus the 16 seed of Ravonna Renslayer from Loki. Sarah.
Asking me? Okay. Peggy.
Alex.
Peggy.
Jaylynn.
Peggy.
And the comments are mad at us for picking Captain Marvel. It was not me. The number 8 seed also staying in Loki. Sylvie versus the number 9 seed of Agent 13. Potentially Bobby Morse. Potentially anybody else. But it is Mockingbird. Laura Barton, the 9 seed. Sylvie versus Laura Barton. Jaylynn.
I picked Laura Barton.
Alex.
Sylvie.
Sarah.
Sylvie.
Wow. You guys didn't even think about it. Let's give the comments a chance to catch up to see if I need to tie break on this one. Jaylynn, why did you pick Laura?
Because of what we got from her in Hawkeye, and just her relationship with Clint. I like how her and Clint had no secrets and that she was okay with him doing what he was doing. You know, he didn't hide it from her. They were open with each other. And I don't know, I just didn't really feel Sylvie too much from Loki. Maybe if I watch it again, it might change. I've only seen Loki once. But I really liked what we got with Laura. And I liked her in Ultron too. So I was a fan of the Barton farm in that movie.
You should watch Loki again. It's very good. We need just a few more comments letting us know. Laura Barton versus Sylvie. Are we going to be taking this to the tiebreaker of myself? We'll give people a chance to catch up. In the meantime, we will introduce our number 5 seed versus the 12. Hela is the 5 seed versus the 12 seed of Natasha Romanoff's mother, Melina Vostokov. Sarah.
Just because I freaking love Cate Blanchett, but Hela was a little bit one-dimensional for me. Melina was a little bit more complicated, and I liked that. So Melina.
We will go back real quick. Laura Barton officially won in the comments, which makes it 2-2. I'm sorry we waited on the comments for so long because I do cast my vote for Sylvie.
Ooh.
Well, it makes the rest of my choices easier, I guess.
Hela is taking it away in the comments so far. Sarah, I apologize. Your vote was for Hela, correct?
No, Melina.
Melina, I'm sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
Can you tell us about that time you met Cate Blanchett and what you said to her?
Oh, Lord, in front of everybody.
Yes.
She was
I've been
coming
waiting to
up.
ask you all night.
She was in I forget what play it was. I didn't see the play. I just waited outside the stage door on Broadway in New York City. And she came out and was saying hi to fans, and I was so starstruck that the only thing I could say that was in my brain at the time was, "You were so great as Galadriel." And she was so nice. She was like, "Oh, thanks." And then just kept walking. It was very, I mean, I guess she could, she's probably heard weirder. So
Stephanie says, never meet your heroes. Rule number 2 for her. What is rule number 1, Stephanie? Please let us know in the comments what rule number 1 is. Hela with a vote in the comments. If you want to hear more of Sarah talking about The Lord of the Rings, stay close to United We Fan this summer ahead of the release on September 2nd of the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon, because we will be talking everything Lord of the Rings trilogy on United We Fan, and it could be at least a 2-parter, more than likely a 3-parter, especially if we talk Hobbit. Alex. Hela, Melina Vostokov.
Hela all the way. She's probably one of my favorite villains too. I love everything about her that the movie made into her, of her using the Necro Sword, her fighting, the fact that she's like Thor's sister. Basically everything they did with her in the movie I thought was great. I agree with you, Sarah, that she was pretty one-dimensional, but I want to see more of her. Like I have a Funko Pop of her. That was the only Thor Ragnarok pop I bought was hers.
I have like 3 different Korg ones.
Don't you think we'll get more Melina Vostokov?
Well, look, if I don't get any more Melina, I'm cool with that. If I don't get any more Hela, I'll be kind of sad.
I don't think you're gonna get any more Hela either. Like, doesn't Hela have a lot of like Gore the God Butcher like tendencies?
Sure, but she's also the goddess of death, so she can't really die. So like the whole thing there, she should have just been sent back to her realm if they're following things. But we'll see.
She got killed by somebody as big as a house. I mean, a mountain. Stephanie says that rule number 1 is put on your own oxygen mask first. Fair enough. Then help the children next to you. As a metaphor, obviously, I haven't been in an abundance of plane crashes. We are at 2-1 in favor of Hela. Jaylynn, are you moving Hela on?
I am Hela.
All right. The number 4 seed of Echo Maya Lopez out of Hawkeye and getting her own Disney Plus show versus the 13 seed Christine Palmer, who died in What If. Alex.
Maya Lopez.
Sarah.
Maya.
Jaylynn.
Maya.
One of the easiest ones on the board, in my opinion. The 6th seed, Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk, versus my personal favorite on the board, number 11, Miss Minutes. Hey, y'all. Jaylynn.
I went with Jennifer Walters. She-Hulk is my most anticipated show that we are getting. And I love the little clip, just a little bit we got in that whatever Investor Day or whatever clip they did a while ago. So I went with her.
What makes She-Hulk your most anticipated? What are you looking forward to with this particular character portrayed by Tatiana Maslany, who we have not yet seen do anything within the MCU, but she was in the Doctors Without Borders episodes of Parks and Rec, if nothing else.
Right. Well, I was going to say that I love her, and that episode is hilarious. But I'm just ready for another, female-led show. And from seeing, I haven't read any comics of hers yet, but seeing her covers, I'm like, she's cool. I want more of her. So I'm judging books by the cover with her.
Quite literally.
Quite literally.
Jared says he's going to go with the clock thing. Justin Grant, she put a ring on it. Apparently, she is now Mrs. Minute. Alex?
Jen Walters.
Sarah?
Yep, Jen.
In the comics, she breaks the third wall. Like, I really hope we just go weird in this show. I'm very, very excited for She-Hulk, and I don't even know like what this show is gonna be like. I'm very, very excited. The number 3 seed Monica Rambo versus the 14 seed of Zhang Nan, and I do apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, but it is Shang-Chi's aunt in Talo. Alex.
Monica.
Sarah.
Just because I know Monica's going to win, but I love Michelle Yeoh and I love a badass auntie. So I'm going to go with Yang Yan.
Jaylynn.
My pick is also Monica, but I would have picked the aunt if she was up against someone else. But being up against Monica first round is tough.
The aunt against the mother, her sister, Ying Li. Go, Jaylynn. Who are you picking?
The aunt.
Okay. You put your money where your mouth is. I like it. All right. There's probably a grandfather clock out there for her, says Joe. Okay. The number 7 seed, talking on potential again, the character of America Chavez, who can literally punch through the multiverse, against who I feel is grossly underrated at 10, Shang-Chi's best friend, Katie. Jaylynn.
I picked Katie. Just because, again, I don't know who America Chavez is, so, and I loved Katie in Shang-Chi. She was hilarious.
America Chavez, coming by actress Xochitl Gomez, is who's going to be portraying her. Alex.
America.
I remember you freaking out when we got the announcement of America Chavez in Disney Investor Day a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, that was an exciting one. She's very new to the Marvel scene, and I had just recently read the thing where they kind of revised her history too, which was nice because I read a few things and then kind of fallen off. And I was like, did I miss anything? And I read this new, and I was like, no, it kind of wiped that stuff clean. But she's just got a really interesting story, and if they follow that, it'll be pretty cool.
Marvel Rising, which is on Disney Plus. Why My Daughter Loves Squirrel Girl and America Chavez. She's the main character in that show as well. Sarah.
America, yeah.
Okay, we'll give the comments just a little bit to catch up. America Chavez versus Katie. Katie's currently winning. We'll see if America Chavez can make a push in the. You know what? I'm not even going to wait on it because I'm going to break the tie with America Chavez anyway. So the number 2 seed, Agatha Harkness. It was Agatha all along. Or the number 15 seed, Bucky's girlfriend, Sarah Wilson. Jaylynn.
I picked Agatha.
Alex.
Agatha.
And Sarah.
Agatha.
The number 1 seed of Peggy Carter versus the number 8 seed of Lady Loki, Sylvie.
Peggy.
Alex.
Peggy.
Jaylynn. Number 5 seed, Hella versus the number 4 seed of Echo, a.k.a. Maya Lopez. Sarah.
Echo.
Alex.
Hella.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
I know, me neither.
Jaylynn.
I picked Maya.
Okay. We will give I do want to know what the comments are thinking there. Hella or Echo? Please let us know. We are getting that Echo show. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Froffy is going to be able to reprise his role unless somehow, some way he gets brought back from the dead, because you're not always dead in the MCU, but I feel like he's pretty dead. So even though Kingpin should be the one that's actually dead, I don't think he's dead. We'll give the comments a chance to catch up with Hella versus Maya Lopez. It is a tie currently. We will move on to the next one, which I don't think will take as long. The 6 seed of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk versus the 3 seed of Spectrum, Photon, whoever she is, Monica Rambo. Sarah.
I love Jennifer.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. She-Hulk is like my number 2 comic book character.
Wow. Who's number 1? I forgot. Just kidding.
Okay.
Alex.
Monica.
It's Natasha Romanoff, everybody, just in case you don't know Sarah as well as I do. A vote for Monica, a vote for Jennifer Walters. Jaylynn.
Monica.
Echo has won it in the comments as well. Up above, Echo moves on over Hella. Alex, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Monica, 2 for Monica, 1 for Jennifer Walters. Monica is winning in the comments. We'll give them another chance to catch up here. But we don't need to, because I am also voting for Monica Rambo. The number 7 seed, America Chavez versus the number 2 seed of Agatha Harkness. Alex.
Agatha.
Sarah.
America.
Jaylynn.
Agatha.
This is where the MCU wins out, I assume, Alex?
100%. Yep. And even with Agatha, like, we all know very little about Agatha Harkness from the comics. She's in like 15 comics, but Catherine Hahn playing Agatha was amazing. Her job there was amazing, but that's all we've seen. So, we don't have much more to go on, but we have absolutely nothing to go on with America. So, yeah. Proof over potential.
We do expect Agatha Harkness to show up next in House of Harkness on Disney Plus. She could pop up anywhere else. I would not say no to her showing up in Multiverse of Madness, but all indications are House of Harkness Disney Plus show is going to be the next place Agatha Harkness shows up. 1 seed of Peggy Carter versus the 4 seed of Maya Lopez, a.k.a. Echo. Is anybody ready to vote? Peggy Carter, Maya Lopez. Sarah.
Peggy.
I really thought that one was going to win out. Alex.
Peggy, only because of What If.
Captain Carter, yeah.
Okay. Jaylynn?
I also picked Peggy.
Because of What If, or just Peggy in general? Because she's
Peggy in general, but also, if we get live action Captain Carter, then
forget about it.
It's like her shield is in the post.
So as she shows up in Doctor Strange, I may like flip chairs or something at the movie theater. Like, I'll be so excited.
All right, we are waiting for the comments to catch up just a little bit. We do have Kara breaking it up with an echo vote. The number 2 seed of Agatha Harkness versus the number 3 seed of Monica Rambeau. Both of them basically just from the one show, which is the greatest show we've gotten on Disney Plus, is WandaVision. Agatha Harkness, Monica Rambeau. Jaylynn.
I picked Monica.
Alex.
It was tough, but I picked Monica.
I also picked Monica, and I'll correct you that she's been in 2 things because she was also in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, technicalities. Sarah.
Monica.
Oh, it's over. Agatha Harkness is defeated. All right. We still have votes coming in for Monica Rambeau and votes coming in for Echo. Somebody throw in a test there for me, a reset in the comments, and we will go with the number 1 seed of Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, all in her glory, versus the number 3 seed of Spectrum, Photon, Space, Sword, Agent Monica Rambeau. Alex.
Monica.
Sarah.
I keep thinking about the potential of Captain Carter, live action Captain Carter, and that gets my vote.
Shout out to What If. Apparently it's going to debut in 2022, according to all reports. So that's kind of a surprise. Some people are more excited about it than others. I haven't heard from Anthony in a bit. I know somebody that's not excited about it. So we've got our reset. We have Monica Rambeau versus Peggy Carter. We are 1-1 on the panel. Jaylynn.
I went with Peggy.
No.
I know.
Right now, Monica Rambeau leads in the comments, but we do need to allow the comments to catch up a little bit while we let the comments vote for. Jared asks if he can vote for Aunt May now. While we let the comments catch up, we will go back to part 1. Wanda Maximoff versus Natasha Romanoff. It was 2-2. I am the tiebreaker. Sarah, we have a great working relationship. Kara's going to be very mad if I don't vote for Natasha Romanoff. Wanda Maximoff and the character that she is in all her ways, portrayed by, I cannot remember her name at the moment, the little girl in episode 8 of WandaVision, is super powerful as well. Elizabeth Olsen is so good in that role. Natasha Romanoff is the OG. Scarlett Johansson has never missed a beat when it comes to Natasha Romanoff. The MCU does not exist in the manner in which it does without Natasha Romanoff, but the future of the MCU does not look as bright as it does without Wanda Maximoff. And I will cast my vote for Natasha Romanoff because I can't do anything else.
That was like quite the journey.
I was still deciding. That's why I just kept talking, and it was a filibuster.
Zigzagging, man.
Wow.
And I have to vote for Scarlett Johansson. I have to vote for Natasha Romanoff.
Wow,
right.
I did not expect that.
There is
Oh my
nobody. There's nobody that has sang the praises of WandaVision more on this show than myself.
I'm shocked.
I cannot wait to see Wanda in Multiverse of Madness, but I have to go with the OG and Natasha Romanoff.
Unbelievable.
Who paid Bryan off? Says
Yeah,
Jared.
for real. Thanks, Jared. Unbelievable.
Monica, Peggy.
I've been ready to go that I won't get to do.
So now we had 2 votes for Peggy, right? And 1 for Monica.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well,
No.
Monica's
what?
Monica's 1 in the comments, which means I have to do that all over again.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, is it going to be the exact same explanation that you just gave for the same 2 types of characters?
No.
Okay.
I'm very interested in the fact that Peggy Carter was taken into custody by the TVA in Loki. I hope we actually get to see where that goes. But Monica Rambeau and the fact that we saw an origin story play out in front of our eyes in something that she wasn't even the main character of, I thought was extremely interesting. The Peggy Carter storyline that can come with Captain Carter is the biggest reason that it's out there for me. But if you told me I could only watch one character from here on out, it's Monica Rambeau, and she moves on.
Yes. Okay, fine. We're redeemed, Brian. You're good. We're good.
Stephanie says I passed out on that roller coaster ride. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry if that was very annoying to listen to. I was trying to talk my way through it. The number 1 seed of Carol Danvers. I really wish this was Yelena, but it's not. Carol Danvers versus the number 3 seed of Monica Rambo.
Oh,
Sarah. Is anybody ready to vote? Jaylynn?
I'll go. I'll vote Carol.
Okay. Alex?
I have a vote, but I need some thoughts coming around. This was where mine ended up, was Monica versus Carol too, and this was the hardest one of all of them for me because they both kind of have the same path. They both debuted in Captain Marvel. They both have the same powers in a sense, where they were given to them and they didn't really ask for it, but they earned them at the same time. And there's so much potential for both of those characters. And look, and
David says, aren't we just voting on the plot of the Marvels?
And see, that's what it is, right? Exactly. It's like, if only Marvel's that movie is going to determine who I would ultimately pick in reality. But for today, for the show with what we've got, I gotta say Carol.
Yep. I'm going Carol.
And I hate that, but yeah.
Okay. You guys aren't making me decide this time, so I will take it and I will run with it. We have our championship up for that one shining moment. Who is going to be the champion of the women of the MCU bracket? Is it too late to change my vote to Wanda? Natasha Romanoff versus Carol Danvers. Alex, Natasha Romanoff, Carol Danvers. Where are you going?
Like I said earlier, I'd like to, if I could, I have a few sentences of some words to share.
Absolutely.
Wanda's story in WandaVision and the amount of payoff from every property that she was in is incredible compared to Carol, who only has a small story for her, or even Natasha, who should have had such a different story but didn't.
Yeah.
Just shows how good storytelling and world building can be enhanced by comic book lore and storylines following her and Vision.
Did you write this down?
Yeah, because I picked Wanda over Carol. But if I'm picking Carol and Natasha, Carol is my pick, and that's an easy pick for me. So I'll say Carol.
You just argued against Carol and then voted for Carol.
Yeah.
Wanda,
Carol, Natasha, Monica, Natasha. That would be my votes. Or I guess Kate and then Natasha. So I'm so sorry, Sarah.
Let us know in the comments your championship vote. Natasha Romanoff versus Carol Danvers. Jaylynn.
I quit. No.
Kara is not happy. If only Kara had any control over what this bracket might have been. I wonder how she could have. Jaylynn.
I feel like I'm just going to go against what I wrote just so that it goes to the comments because I think we need their help. But I will pick Carol. But then if Sarah also picks Carol, I will pick Natasha.
I cannot imagine Sarah's going to pick Carol.
I think about the Natasha's arc throughout the MCU, and she really, we like to talk about Tony who went from selfish to selfless, but I think Natasha experienced that same arc through her journey as well. Because they both made the ultimate selfless sacrifice for their friends and family and the rest of the world. I think Carol has yet to go through that same journey of humility. And just the emotional, oh man, I'm stalling again. Natasha, there was nothing super about her except that she chose to do good in spite of everything working against her.
Natasha has also won it in the comments, which puts the onus on myself.
Has she? We got one vote for Natasha.
I don't know if you've gone up high enough. We've got
Scroll up.
Natasha, Captain Marvel, Natasha.
Oh, I saw the Agathas, and I was like, I think that's from our bio.
No.
Okay.
Jared's
Okay.
just protesting. Jared's just protesting that it should be Agatha. Morgan Stark should have beat Carol Danvers. Is what Carol said.
Whoa.
Morgan Stark did not make it out of the first round.
That's
for
a hot
us.
take.
He lost to Makari, but Kara doesn't like Eternals either. So Wanda versus Natasha was my national championship. Carol, I've already voiced my struggles with that character. I would have voted Yelena Belova over Carol Danvers. I am voting for Natasha Romanoff, who is the rightful winner of the Women of the MCU 64-person bracket. Congratulations, Sarah, for feeling that vindication, if nothing else. Stephanie says the number of times that Nat was willing to give her life and then ultimately did shows she was battling herself while battling evil. Chills, literal chills. Sarah, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Accepting the award on behalf of Natasha.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jaylynn, thank you so much for joining us again for the first time in just a few weeks, or for the second time in just a few weeks. Alex on Comics and Cinema. Like I said, if you want to tune in, listen to more of us talk about the Book of Boba Fett, you're more than welcome to. Anything else in the world of comics and cinema, Alex?
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled. We're going to have a Moon Knight comic book episode coming in the next few weeks. We're going to be reading a bunch of different Moon Knight series, letting you know which ones are the best, what our favorite parts are, and what we think is going to tie into the show.
Sarah, what's happening at the Nerd Emporium?
I just got a bunch of new inventory that I'm super excited about. Going to be taking pictures and posting it on my Instagram, and then recording that Moon Knight episode with Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Moon Knight, 2 weeks. Defenders hit Disney Plus in just a few hours. Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be available on my television in 112 minutes, and I think I'm going to stay awake. Thank you so much, everybody. This was an absolute blast. Even though she didn't win, we still have to go for it for the children.
Whether you're coming to Florida to visit Disney or the beach, Hinson Photography specializes in vacation portraits for families and couples. A souvenir that you'll never forget. Visit www.hinsonphotography.com or call 386-478-8099 to learn more about booking vacation portraits with Hinson Photography. That's www.hinsonphotography.com.
Welcome to our third edition of the post-credit scene of Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. I am changing the entire bracket. Wanda beat Natasha. Wanda Maximoff is the winner of our bracket. Just kidding. Congratulations to Natasha Romanoff.